everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror! Rainbows from Hell. Yes, rainbows from hell. So, we are now at epic episode number 14. Coming off of last night's horrifically bad 13th episode of a 13th movie of a 13 something. I don't know, just trying to say 13 a bunch. A series of movies that probably better left forgotten. My God. By the 13th episode, it should be forgotten and buried and kicked away. But that was Witchcraft Part 13, Blood of the Chosen. And so, let's get that taste out of my mouth. And tonight's episode number 14, I thought that I should bring it back to a more contemporary horror piece, a movie that was released not too long ago. A movie that sort of turns the world on its head, so to speak. And that's the movie As Above, So Below. Yes. So, what is this movie about? Well, I'm glad you asked. This movie is about a professor who's an archaeologist, and she's the daughter of a famous historian archaeologist, and she is obsessed with finding the Philosopher's Stone. Yes, oh my goodness, are we in an episode of Full Metal Alchemist? I don't know. But, so, she has gone to Iran to search for this mysterious rose key or bolt. Yeah, I think they said rose key. And so there are these tunnels that are being demolished, and she decides this is her last chance to go and try to find this key. And lo and behold, she does before everything gets all blown up and some mysterious, weird suicide thing happened beforehand. So all of a sudden we already got some ominous omens, a portent of things to come. So, she finds out that the Philosopher's Stone is hidden in an underground vault underneath the burial spot of this famous French alchemist. And so she gets her partners in crime and some people she knows on the streets of France to sneak into the off-limits areas of the catacombs, yes, the French catacombs, the place where millions and millions of bones and dead people are. So, of course, nothing supernatural could ever happen in that area. So she ventures into the forbidden areas of the catacombs in search for the ultimate prize of alchemy, the Philosopher's Stone. And, well, they go in there, and there's an area where it's all blocked off, and no one ever goes there. Anyone who does go there never come back. And, of course, they're like, so we need to go around it. They try to go around it, but they can't, so she, of course, who's obsessed and feeling that she's so close to the goal that her father basically went mad and killed himself for, she could taste it. And that's a theme that you can find in movies similar to this, that the idea of obsession and the fact that you're so close to something, you start to throw logic and good sense out the window because you're like, no, we need to get there. I'm so close. I'm not going to let anything stand in my way. And, of course, you doom yourself and everyone around you when you start doing those things. So, of course, they go through the forbidden area, and all kinds of strange things happen. Piano from people's past, a phone call. Wait, there's a phone down there? That doesn't make any sense. And it almost plays out kind of like a, I don't know if you've seen the movie National Treasure, but it kind of feels like that kind of movie where they're following these clues and going through these artifacts and going, oh, look, we got secret stuff on the back of this. Let's use a little lemon zest or something to get the stuff out of it. it feels like one of those type of almost adventure caper movies, more so than a horror movie. So as they get deeper and deeper and deeper into the depths of the earth, stranger and stranger things happen until, lo and behold, they find the Philosopher's Stone, and that's when everything gets turned upside down, and it becomes a struggle for survival with hellish, mysterious entities all around them, seemingly trying to kill them and each other. And I don't want to get further into the movie, but that's basically the movie. Is they find it, now it's time to try to get the hell out while not getting murdered by strange, weird things. They're going deep into the bowels of the earth, maybe even into the depths of hell itself. Who knows? But let's get to the scores, shall we? So, Violence and Gore, I'm giving it a pitiful 1.5 out of 5. It says that they have violence and terror, but the violence is actually quite tame. I mean, there's a scene where someone gets their face bashed in, and there's like accidents that happen, which can add to a little bit of the gruesomeness. But overall, it didn't feel all that violent. There was a bit of blood, but some of that's from like a sea of blood that's like flowing down below. But other than that, it just didn't really strike me as a very violent, very gory movie. So 1.5 out of 5. Shock value also a 1.5 out of 5. This movie is about creating a sense of eeriness and maybe trying to get this sense of impending doom, but you don't really get the doom. You get more of a claustrophobic feel. It reminded me more of The Descent when it came to how like the crypts, the catacombs felt. Very closed in, very claustrophobic. And there was a scene where one of the people gets stuck, and I thought that was a very effective scene. It created a lot of tension, and for some reason, I do get affected by those type of scenes where my heart starts racing and my breathing starts getting up. I mean, literally, when you watch The Descent, there's a few scenes of that movie where, and I'm at the back of the theater, and I'm open, huge freaking theater, and I'm kind of going, whew, feeling a little trapped in here. So that just shows you how much of an effect that kind of stuff has. So that really got me. However, the jump scares that are there are few and far between and not very effective. And there's nothing like really shocking, no like huge twists or anything. Movie pretty much plays out quite straightforward. Like, I mean, they try to use a bit of the sound design to create this kind of unease. But it's a found footage film, which is usually a bad sign. And therefore, there's not a lot of music, so you're assuming that the sounds you are hearing are the sounds they're hearing, and that can add to the creep factor. But overall, not much going on shock-wise, so 1.5 out of 5. Acting, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. I think the main people did a decent job, but some of the peripheral characters felt a little, I don't know, too one-dimensional. There's this guy who was like this famous crypt explorer who disappeared, and then they found him, and he was trying to be creepy, but he acted more like he was stoned. So I just didn't like that, and some of the things going on. Before they get into the catacombs with some of the actors and actresses. I mean, there's this scene where they're in the bus and they're like, "Oh hey, this is my crew, and this is victim number 1, and this is victim number 2, and I have the worst French accent because it's not even French. It became something really weird. No, we have a." Yeah, fuck it, I'm not gonna do it. There we have victim number 1, and victim 2, and the victim 3, and the victim I don't know what 4 is, because I am not French. So, anyways, just as an example, but still, overall, pretty good. 3 out of 5. Plot, I'm giving a 3 out of 5. It's very standard. It feels like an adventure movie. It's not really as horrifying as one would like. However, it's pretty straightforward, and there doesn't seem to be any like real holes. And I didn't really see anything that would be considered conveniences in plot, and it flowed very well. There were probably no times during this movie where I felt like, come on, let's get on with it. Come on, I don't want to, let's fast forward through this part. And so I thought it went well connected, and things made sense in the context of the storyline. So I did enjoy that. Would have given it higher scores, but the ending was kind of stupid. I really didn't like the ending. I think, especially after what happens at the end, they needed to do another couple scenes to like kind of give us, some context, or they could have done something really awesome with the end and really given us kind of a really weird, eerie feeling. But they didn't, so the end kind of just fell a little flat for me. 3 out of 5. Nudity, I'm giving a 1 out of 5. There's only this one scene where there were these cultists doing some topless ritual, singing like the Gregorian chant, and it's not very long, but still, titties, and I love it. Thank you for giving us some tits. It didn't say nudity or brief nudity here, so hey, MPAA, good job, good job, good job. I respect that you'll let some things slide. Good job. Anyways, maybe they fell asleep during that part. I don't know. I mean, I found it enthralling. As a matter of fact, it's time for enjoyment factor. I'm giving it a solid 3.75 out of 5. It would have gotten a higher score if there was more mayhem and fright and more horror elements, but instead it was more of a spooky Indiana Jones-esque National Treasure type movie. And don't get me wrong, I love National Treasure. I'm a big fan of that movie, even its sequel. I like those. I kind of like that whole historical adventure, looking for treasure, finding traps, read the hieroglyphics. My God, bleh. I like that kind of stuff, and you get the kind of that vibe and adventure here in the context of a massive underground tomb. So 3.75 out of 5. Yes, I mean, if you're a true, like a diehard, stick-to-it horror fan looking for lots of horror elements, you may be disappointed with this film, because even though it does have some genuinely creepy moments, and the atmosphere can be creepy, especially when you're in the catacombs, there's all these bones and bodies, it really, overall, didn't feel very horrifying as a movie, but still very intriguing, very interesting, and I was quite entertained by it. And so my final score, my overall impression, is a 3.5 out of 5. It's a solid movie. It's an okay horror movie, but overall, it's a very, very above average, well put together, interesting, entertaining, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, but to me, it's a weak horror movie, but a definite entertaining sort of adventure film in and of itself. So there you have it. 3.5 out of 5 overall impression. It all averages out to 2.5 out of 5. Anyways, as above, so below. Very interesting, and I'd say entertaining movie. Just not overly horror-esque, but then again, sometimes you can't always jam in as much violence and mayhem as you want. And I don't know if any of that was influenced by budget or studio involvement or anything like that. But still, I'd say it's a solid movie, and you guys should check it out. So, what do you think? Did you like As Above, So Below? Tell me what you think. Did you find it, like, very horrifying? A lot, like a massive horror type experience? Or were you like me? You thought, no, it's more of an adventure film with horror elements, but I still can appreciate that. So, there you go. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you want to, if you are already a subscriber, but I think the only people watching these have to be subscribers, because I don't know if anyone's actually doing a search for As Above, So Below. It's been a few years since it came out, and honestly, I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about this movie, so I don't know if they don't because it's not as horror as they would want it to be, or just not enough people watched it, or they kind of forgot about it. I don't know, but there you have it. As above, so below. Episode 14 is in the books. And so, I shall leave you for tonight as I contemplate the future of tomorrow and see what happens on the 15th, which is basically the halfway point of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. Can you believe that? Where has this time gone? We are almost halfway done already. And it's starting to get cold. You can tell I've been wearing a jacket because, yeah, it's starting to get cold. That frosty chill is getting into the air as summer gives way to fall and fall gives way to winter. And the darkness encroaches upon us closer and closer as the days go by. And soon it will be the All Hallows Eve. What they would call the height of demonification. Anyways, until next time, Internet. I can't really think of anything clever to say about this. I don't know. Stay below. Yeah, that was kind of bad. Whatever.